Welcome to the Deprogram show. Got a special guest, man. Kay B Brown. What's going on, my brother?
Man, lovely. Good to be here. Blessed. Always.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself, because I'm very familiar with you.
Man, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm a 26-year-old rapper, born and raised. I'm one of a kind, that positive rapper that try to push the limit and just tell my story to the world, and then just hoping that they start listening. I'm the one that you shouldn't count out, because I'm the one that's gonna take it there, and I'm gonna tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell the real truth, the real uncut truth, and then that's what separates me from everybody else.
So that's what made you want to do the positive thing instead of rapping about like the drugs, the guns, the things of that nature.
Man, really, because I'm not a street dude. I don't sell drugs. Like, I was a schoolboy, but I was the one that everybody knew. I was the one that everybody was cool with. Then I always been a positive person, like, since way back. But I just feel like, I think my defining moment is when my best friend, he was killed, like in the end of 2015. And I just felt like it's positivity just needed. So I had to switch. Well, not switch my whole flow, but I had to like do a 180. And I just feel like when my best friend died, I just feel like I had to share my story with the world and show them like, man, it's still some positive brothers out here. I just want to open up that lane for positive music, the great music. So that's what it was. It was basically my best friend dying. So that was my defining moment when I decided to go from street rap to more conscious rap.
So your best friend dying, your best friend used to rap with you as well, right?
Right, we rapped together for 15 years.
So he got killed. You want to talk about that, or you want to leave that alone, about how the situation? Cause
I mean, might as well gonna talk to it. He was killed by the Chattanooga police in December 2015, Javario Eagle, and one of them unfortunate situations where situation involved the police. I just think things really could have been avoided, but hey, I think it all happened for a reason, because without that situation, I wouldn't be right here presenting myself to the world.
So that made you a better, even though he lost his life, you took it and it made you a better man.
Right, it made me appreciate life more, made me appreciate my family, and then it just made me take music more serious, because I know if he was alive, he'll be doing that. He'll be pushing me like, bro, you need to do that. You got the opportunity to do this and do that. You got to do it. So every time like I get discouraged, I always think like, man, I actually got a best friend that's like 6 feet under. So every time I get discouraged, that's my only motivation. Every time I think back to that. So I gotta go hard.
So what was the first song that you did after his death?
Man, I think it might have been the song with Coop. See, I did the Understanding track. I did that before he died, but a lot of people thought it was related to him, but he actually heard that song before he died. And I think it was the Education of the Coop and Kate. I think that was like the first song I did after he died.
And so what did that, doing that song, knowing you had rapped with this man 15 years, does that whole sentimental value like actually going to get back to the craft with that song right there?
Right, it's like, I think my verse on that is just like raw, like just right to the point. And then I was just like high of emotion then, because like that's my first song. I'm actually saying long live JV, and I'm like, that really didn't even feel right, because I'm so used to him being right beside me. And then now I just go in the booth, close my eyes, then just let it go. It just feel like he sitting right beside me. So
So
just
with,
like now.
with the understanding,
Right.
you chose to. What made you push that as your first single off your EP?
Yeah, understanding. I did that song like I think like September 2015, and I recorded it, but I wasn't serious with the music at the time, so I was just sitting on the song for like 2 or 3 months until JV died. And then one day I was talking to my stepfather, and he was telling me, no, I was telling him, like, man, I need a song that'll kind of go with the movement of like everything was going on. He was like, it ain't no need for you to make no song because you already got one. So I was like, what? He was like, that song Understanding. I was just like, and then I didn't know how powerful the song was. So the day that he was buried, which was December 26th, that's when I first released Understanding, like on SoundCloud. But I really wasn't really taking it serious because, man, I ain't haven't rapped in years since then. So I ain't know how people would perceive it, but it started getting a great response. And then that's when I hooked up with Keith and Kobe, AK Films, and they hit me up like, bro, you need a visual to it. So I'm like, man, I don't want no visual. I ain't even serious with music like that. And he was like, yeah. So we planned the video, shot the video. We released it 3 weeks after he was buried. We actually released it on January 28th. And that's actually the day that was most important to me because that's the day at the time, 7 years ago, my house was caught on fire and then it burned down to the ground. So that was a defining moment for me because if you look at the video, the house that I'm standing in front of is the same house that burnt down. So all that just blending in and came together.
One of the first whims I got on you, I think I was on Facebook, and I seen you was in the room, you was rapping. You was like, I think you rapped a long verse.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, who is this dude? And I think me and Coop, we talked about it. We was like, man, dude going in. And the next thing I know, I seen the Understanding video.
Right.
And it was like, man, I felt like about time somebody in this city took a different route and still spit. So what was, after you dropped the video, what was your response from the public?
Man, I got so much love from like Chattanooga and other cities. It just gave me motivation. Like, yeah, this is what you need to be doing. Like, you need to be music. People was hitting me up like, whatever you do, don't stop. Like, you just keep doing music. Do whatever you got to do. Just make sure you don't stop. Man, it was just overwhelming because I released the video like on Facebook, and then like in the course of 2 days, it got like 20,000 views. I probably wasn't expecting no more than probably 2,000. So I was like, man, that response, man, that was just overwhelming.
So after that, I noticed you dropped Travel first. You dropped Travel as well as the chapter 24?
Chapter 24 was actually the song that you saw me rapping in the room. It's just I put a title to it. And yeah.
And then you dropped, what was the response on the EP? Because, man, you put your heart in that EP.
Man, I think Understanding was the first song I recorded. So I probably recorded from like September 2015 to probably like up to May 2016. It's just because I was real picky about what I wanted to put on there. And then I released the project in late August last year. And then just like the same thing as the video, like I got a overwhelming response, and I released it on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and all that. And then I'm still getting love from that, and it's almost been a year.
So I also noticed you had the song. Tell me about the song Goals. With your homie. I think he out of Texas.
Booger Bradshaw. Yeah. The day after I released the Understanding video, I guess his producer EGL Beats they out of Lubbock, Texas. Both of them from Lubbock, Texas. And he sent me a link, or EGF Beats, he sent me a link, and I was listening to some of his music. I was like, yeah, your beat's pretty dope. And then at the time, I'm still trying to get established as an artist. And then I say probably like an hour later, Booker Bradshaw, he hit me up and he was like, man, we need to do some work. So I was just like, yeah, let's do it. So they got it up, made the beat. He recorded his verse, sent it to me. I sent it back in probably like a week or so. Once I got set up with my engineer, then boom, there you go. You got the goals.
One thing about that song is like, once you listen to the hook and what y'all was talking about on the song, it pretty much went against everything, the status quo of all the other rappers.
Right.
So, when you heard the hook as well as the beat, what was your thoughts?
Like money, clothes, cars, clothes. I said it wrong, but I just got that, like, man, you gotta like spit, you gotta tell them like what it is, you gotta spit what's real. And I was just like, I was so in love with the beat, I was just like, man, I gotta go in. So I went up, spent about 2 hours writing it, came back, I was like, man, this it. I sent it back, they was all that wow. I was like, yeah, this the one.
So tell me about your writing process, cause man, the way you set your words up and your style is like, it's unique, and it's like, you know, once if you hear enough of your music, you know, when you come with something, you gonna have it layered to where it's a deep message, and the punchline gonna set up another punchline.
Right. Yeah, they just come from, like, I've been writing music since I was like 7, and I always been like into poetry. So rapping, that just comes second nature to like poetry. And then like my writing style, I basically write without the beat. I just write anything that come to my head. I can be like at work, I can be just walking around anywhere, and I just happen to get these thoughts in my head, and I just jot them down to my iPhone. Then from there I create thoughts. It turn into 2 bars, then it turn into 16. Then I write the chorus, and then I get with like Coop or another producer around the city, and I be like, hey, I got this song, see what you can do with it. Yeah.
So, like, I noticed you've been getting a lot of interviews, as well as you went to South by Southwest. Tell us about that experience, because I know you went down there and put on for the city. Yeah, man. In March I went down to the South by Southwest. I did 2 shows, but it's the second one that was defining, because it was Hip Hop Weekly sponsoring the show, and it had the likes of like Ace Hood, Zilla, Benzino, just a lot of celebrities just up and down the script. And I entered into the Hip Hop Weekly contest. Then what so happened, I ended up winning like over like 30 other artists. And I don't know, man, that was just a blessing. Like I still really can't even believe I won it, but it was all for a reason. I went out there and I put on for Chattanooga, and I brought the W back home. Then once you came home, you put it down again in another show in the city. Was the Hip Hop Chat?
The Hip Hop Chat showcase. Just the same thing. I was like, man, if I can win in Texas, I know I can win at home, like with ease. So it's just the same thing, but the only difference was I had a lot of people to come out to support. So it just made it even more special, because that was just like another defining moment. Like, yo, he here to stay. So
there's a lot of message in your song. What can you say out of all the verses you done wrote and put out that the people can go check out? What's your favorite or your most personal verse to you?
Man, I have to say the verse what I did with Coop, like that first one, like that's my absolute favorite verse, because I had so much thoughts, I had so much to say, and it just, when I started writing it just started coming out like boom, 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 boom. Man, it was, so education of Coop and K, man, that's my favorite verse.
So what you got coming up next?
Oh man, I got a lot of things in the works. I got the story to tell, Rebirth. I'm probably dropping in the next probably month or so. It might not even be that long, but I'm re-releasing Story to Tell, but I'm adding 5 new songs to it, and then I'm turning it to a mixtape. I got DJ Lyricist Kay out of Arizona, and then I got DJ Alamo out of Virginia, and they both gonna host a mixtape. So they should be in the process of probably wrapping it up. So you'll be hearing that pretty soon.
You got a shirt on to say fake.
Right.
Does that have a special meaning or?
Nah, this is actually Chemo. She another dope artist out of Chattanooga. It's just me supporting her. And then I love supporting other local artists.
So you got a show coming up, what, Friday?
Right, at the Reverie Room.
So tell us about your show, cause I know you. I've been hearing about how you bless the stage basically.
Yeah, man. This Friday, teaming up with a couple of my homeboys, Hines Cole out of Chickamauga, Georgia. Keith Austin and a couple others. We basically doing a show. It's kind of like a follow up from when I won a showcase. But yo, we gonna bless the stage. I got a lot of talent. I got a lot of surprises. Surprise acts coming out with me. We gonna bless the stage. I go on as the main headliner, and I'm gonna light the stage up.
So I know you might have what a lot of artists don't have in the city. Your stepfather,
right?
He been in the game. He been in the game way back with Silverhawk,
right? Cause
I remember going to Silverhawk and he instructing the artists on how to do their thing. Yeah. So what part has he played on helping you learn the business?
Man, I say all the way. Like the way I am as an artist, I say a lot of that contribute to him and how he taught me early on and how to do the music. Like he always said, if you're gonna rap about something you know. I don't wanna listen to no songs while you talk about some jibber jabber and I know you haven't did it, because I'm gonna call you out on it. So that just always stuck with me. So when you hear my songs now, he can vouch for them. So that's why he like my best promoter, because he goes so hard for me. And man, it's just a blessing, because everything, I guess now he's seeing now that everything he taught me is starting to pay off in a big way. So a big part of my success, I owe that to him. So,
and I know he go hard for you. I was seeing you on live on the topic of discussion.
Yeah.
When y'all pranked him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't playing no games.
He was not playing no games. And he just like that with me, period. You can't even say anything wrong about me. And he with it.
So it's like you had a man in your life to help you become a man. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's one of the reasons why a lot of artists don't or are not comfortable being themselves? Because they feel like they gotta be something because their male figure wasn't in their life.
Right. I totally agree. That's the main reason why I turned out the way I am, because I actually had a male role model like to actually teach me and like how to deal with certain situations that like my mother, she can tell me, but she really can't explain it to me because she not a man. And he had them talks with me and just show me the characteristics and what principles to have and how to conduct yourself and how to handle this and how to handle that and still keep a positive attitude about everything. So yeah, basically without him, and he not even my biological father, but without him, really, it wouldn't really be no me. I wouldn't be the one that you see. I wouldn't be Kay B Brown that you know.
So not only that, I hear lines that you have like, it ain't installed in me, it's instilled in me.
Right.
And as well as niggas don't respect the elders, they respect the shooters. Mm-hmm. So like, when I hear that, I'm like, finally somebody really putting things in perspective. And even hearing lines like that let me know you do respect your elders, and you got a strong upbringing, because those lines right there are what make the guys who do the foolish rap, I call it, respect you.
Right.
So what's your?
Yeah, I agree.
What do you get? What's your response from other rappers?
I say for the most part it's good, but a lot of them support. But I think it's probably to a certain extent, because I'm not on the same level. I don't rap the same as them, so it's like I'm not with the club and like the gangbang music, so they can relate to me like on a certain level. But I think once I expand more, it'll bring them in more. Like the more music I put out in marketing, it's just about them taking me more serious.
So have you ever had anybody come to you say, "Hey man, I know you hard, but man, go this rap," like on the same tip that everybody else going?
Man, I get that well, I wouldn't say all the time, but I have gotten that a lot in the past. Like, man, you want some Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, but I'm not. You really can't compare me to nobody, because I'm not following in their footsteps. I'm telling my story and how I want things to see in the world. So you can't compare me to Kendrick. You can't compare me to J. Cole. I can only be one person, and that's KB.
Another part you talked about earlier is the house fire.
Right.
And you got a song about it, to where you touch on it. Like how did that impact your life?
Man, that basically it changed my life completely, because in that moment I end up actually being homeless for like the next 2 years to come after that. So it just taught me the values of family, and not to take life for short, and not to take life for granted, and like, man, just do right, and just do right when ain't nobody looking, and just appreciate the ones and everything around you, because man, it can be gone in a blink of an eye.
So that's I think I heard you talk about on one of the songs, you was talking about sleeping on your Aunt Tina couch.
Yeah.
And see, one of the things, you can hear the struggle in your music, and a lot of dudes don't really pay attention to lyrics, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you, because of the message, and it ain't just the typical message.
Right.
And also, you had a line on, I want to say Understanding, where you was actually talking about deprogramming. So touch on that line, because I know.
What's that, we just program to follow the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just everything it's like we grow up and we taught to think a certain way and be a certain way, but it ain't no right or wrong way to be if you just being yourself. And I don't know, I just feel like, man, as long as you gaining knowledge, you don't necessarily have to follow. As long as you gaining knowledge, you don't have to follow anybody else's footsteps. As long as you got your own understanding, that's your path to success.
Because that's one of the reasons why I started the Deprogram show, because I was thinking the same way. And it's like, I know the route you took is similar to the way I think. Right. So I know you get the guys, hey man, rap about this, or do this, do that. So how do you just keep focus on and say, nah, I'm cool? What keeps your train of thought?
I think back to my best friend. I think back to the house burning, and it just put everything in perspective. And like, man, I can't change up. Like, I came so far. Now I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. It'll be foolish for me to change up. So, man, ain't no point in changing.
So, I mean, that's about it, man. It's like, if somebody want to get in touch with you for a verse or anything of that nature, where can they hit you up at?
It's not my email, but I have my creative consultant, Michael Chapman. You can hit him up at Mike Chat at yahoo.com. He handle all the verses and all that, and I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even if that's too hard, you can always just type in www.kbbrown.com, and that'll take you to my page.
So obviously you got a team.
Yeah. Well, it's really 2 of us, but it seemed like it's like 10 of us. But this is what we always wanted to do our entire lives. And then since I had Mike in my corner, it's just everything just been skyrocketing because we putting everything in motion. Like how we wanted to be. First it was just kind of frustrating because I had to try to do everything by myself and try to handle, but now I can just really just focus on being an artist. And then plus we in partnership with Hip Hop Cha, and then that help us also like with shows and other stuff around the city. So you all work out.
You also performed at I think a movie festival, like a film festival.
Yeah, it was a film opening for a movie called Steal Me Away. I did that a few months back. Yeah, and they invited me to come out and perform on a few songs. Yeah, it was pretty dope.
So I noticed you get invites that other artists don't get.
Right.
Like not only that, you did it was like a tasting event.
Mm-hmm.
So
Chef Express.
So it's like people should take heed that once you be yourself, it'll open all kind of doors.
Up so many doors that you can never even think about opening. Like I know as long as I stay true to myself, man, people don't have no choice but to respect that. So, and then it's positive. So it's like the music that I put out, it might have some profanity to it, but overall it's a great message. And then it's something you can play when you in the car with your kids, and then they play some mama rap and you like, I don't want to hear that. But then you put on my music and they were like, see, you hear what this young man saying? You need to take heed of what he's saying. So yeah, I make music for the family, for the whole.
And what's interesting that you said that, I work with kids,
mm-hmm.
and I was riding in a van, and they were playing, who was it, Future or somebody.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, hold on, man, y'all need to check this out. And I played Understanding. They was like, man, that's deep. I said, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gives a alternative, but it's like, it ain't lame either.
Mm-hmm.
Cause a lot of the alternative stuff, they don't want to hear that. It be kind of corny. So if you could speak to the youth,
mm-hmm.
and tell them anything, an up-and-coming artist and the youth as a whole, what would you tell them?
I say, man, be yourself. Educate yourself as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. Obtain as much knowledge as you can. But most importantly, be yourself. Don't get sucked in what the world, like the BS that the world bring. Just do you and provide for you and yours, and nobody else's opinion matters.